Hello and welcome to Glitch Cube. We're a gaming podcast, and each week we take a deeper look into the art of video games. As always, I'm Christian,
I'm Chris.
and welcome back, everybody. Thank you guys for joining us once again as we dive further into the world of games. So, what are we going to be talking about this week? Well, we are going to be doing something that we love to do. We've done it quite a lot, but it's just a nice way to flex our creative muscles, right? To just think of new ideas and try and expand the horizon of games in general. We are going to be doing our We Make a Game series, but we're doing another little twist on this one. We like adding little tiny twists throughout these guys just to keep them light, keep them different enough for us as well. Today we are doing video game mashups. So we are taking two different franchises and just smashing them together and seeing what kind of crazy mess we can create, what we can think of, what do we want to see out of these worlds, and what to kind of expect, right? Like, I think that this is a lot of fun. And for those of you who are just listening, there is, a video component now. The last couple of these have actually been put out there on YouTube land, so where you can actually see our faces, and hopefully we'll have some images as well to go with these crazy creations that we will be coming up with today or this week. But yeah, anyway, you ready for this, man? This is gonna be fun. I'm
Oh
excited. I
yeah,
mean,
it's
it's
gonna
gonna be
get
very
weird.
different, right? Because it's gonna get super weird, but it's gonna be very different than what we were used to, right? Because we usually just do like the random generators and stuff like that, and kind of just off the cuff. It doesn't matter what it is. Maybe we'll throw like a holiday theme and all that goodness, but now these are pre-established franchises now that we're gonna be playing around with. So let's get goofy with it. But I figured, why don't we start with like the one that kind of set this off for me, right? Like the one that I was like, "Oh, wait, this is kind of like a cool idea." And that's gonna be Super Mario Brothers mashed up with Dark Souls. So, like, Super Mario Souls Brothers or something, like something kinda, or Dark Mario Brothers, that'd be easy enough too. But I just think it would be so interesting to see, like, a gritty, grungy Mario, like, I'm just imagining that final fight, like, can you imagine Bowser as, like, a Souls-like boss, right? Like, how insane that would actually be. 'Cause, he would have multiple stages, come back as Dry Bones Bowser, he'd be fucking huge and just, like, fire everywhere, just this insane epic thing, and you're just Mario, just there, right? Like, I don't even like, what kind of weapons do you think Mario would even have? I don't know what.
I
It'd
mean,
feel
you could
weird to
go
give him
like,
a sword.
you could, but you could give him like Mario RPG. Like, he just has his hammer, but you can do different like
That's true.
variations. I mean, he can have a plunger as like a joke. Like,
Yeah.
you can kind of. I look at it almost like free reign of like how Smash Brothers has all those different weapons. It's like, oh, you can just kind of use these, but I don't really remember swords being in a Mario game in general. So like,
Mm-mm.
but it's like basically everything else is in it. When you brought this up and I was thinking about it, and I'm like trying to think of some good stages from
Mm.
Mario games that would be like fun to explore. And I was thinking, 'cause when you said Super Souls Brothers, I was like, man, imagine a 2D. So like Salt and Sanctuary style of like Souls, where it's like
Oh,
the side
yeah.
scrolling kind of blasphemous. But like
Oh, yeah, it could go down that route too. I didn't even think about that. My brain was thinking like full 3D, like throw Mario into a
that's
3D world,
That's what I thought
right?
first, and then I was like, "Ooh, the 2D kind would be interesting because like, it could get really like, you could really make the platforming, like, really hard in it too. So it would just be,
Yeah.
like, blasphemous, but imagine I'm trying to think of a world here, but, like, Boo's Mansion in Super Mario World where it's just like, I don't know, some, like,
Yeah.
disgusting castle made of,
That would be
like,
pretty cool.
flesh or something.
Yeah, it has to be like really alive, right? And
Mhm.
like as you turn around from things, things are coming towards you. I feel like that would be a place that just has so many mimics that
Mhm.
whenever like if you turn your back to a painting, the painting comes alive and reaches out and tries to grab you and stuff like that, right? Like
Mhm.
there's all kinds of craziness in there. You know what actually might be an interesting change, because Mario jumps and Mario stomps, right? Like he'll
Yeah.
jump on people and kills them. That's his thing. So what if like the weapon upgrades are different, like boots? and shoes and things like that, right? And you get like you have your walk on water boots where that's like their special ability, or like you have like drill boots that you can like combo in, right? So you're like instead of just like a quick hop on, hop off, it's like like right, you drill into the opponent or things like that, or just straight up like cleats. So it's just like a added like
Mm.
a little bit of bonus,
Like
or it's
Metal
like poison
Mario.
boots. Yeah. Poison boots, like you stepped in something. It's
That'd
just
be
like
cool.
just like giving them some craziness there. But man, I think that would be really
I'm
fun.
thinking too, like Mario 64, right? Because I feel like
Mhm.
that game, in some ways, had some really, I don't know if I'd call them dark stages for a Mario game, but like I'm
Mhm.
thinking back as a kid, and I remember like that lava stage being like, this
Oh
is
yeah.
crazy. I don't know why it sticks out in my head, but I'm like thinking, oh man, imagine that just being like a Dark Souls battleground. Or
And the bullies would be crazy in that one,
oh, the
right? Like,
chomps, dude. Imagine the chomps, but
yeah.
they're all like disgusting, like rusted with like bloody teeth,
And
but
that one
like
had the crazy
multiple
vultures
layers.
too that were really annoying as well, right? Like,
Oh, yes. Those
you can have
spiders
some
on the
really
water. That the
Oh,
stage I hate the
yeah,
most, the
yeah.
one where you raise and lower the water levels. I don't know why
So
I
annoying.
hate that level with a
So
passion.
annoying.
It
I feel
was
like almost anything with water, it gets kind of annoying. Like, I will say,
yeah.
like the water temple in Zeldas, they're amazing because, like, when you really look at the ingenuity and the design of it all, it's actually kind of fascinating. They're able to come up with that much out of like a small area because of
Mhm.
the changing water levels. But swimming in games just doesn't feel good almost ever. So it's
Yeah.
just always so annoying to be thrown into a water level. Yeah, no, thank you. But man, that would be ooh, those water bugs. I could see that being because they were already really annoying. Now imagine them being
Mhm.
like annoying but fucking terrifying.
And they're
Where like these
fast.
things are, yeah, they're like skittering at you completely. Oof. I feel like this would be fucking awesome. I mean, like, because you can even still have the magic and everything too, right? Because you got
Mhm.
the fire flower and all that. Like I guess you can be put like, can you imagine Mario with his different now his upgrades, like the star power, the Tanuki mask, or the suit, and things like that. Is that a permanent buff, or is that something that is temporary?
I
Right?
think when I look at like a Souls, it's like you'll have like the scroll or the, like the spell there,
Yeah.
and then you can power it up and stuff as you want. But it has like, limited uses until you hit like a bonfire or something. But in this case, it'd be like a warp pipe or something like that.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is, you have your fire flower equipped, use it just like you would like a fire spell, but it runs out and then you don't have it anymore. So it's like
Mhm.
you'll always have these items in your inventory. You just need to recharge them.
Yeah. That makes sense. I like that. And to see like a little visual of it, right? Like whatever clothes you're wearing, maybe they get like a red tint whenever you pop up like the firepower and things like that.
Hmm.
Yeah. I just trying to imagine like even the most basic enemies, like a Goomba, but like Souls like would just be like terrifying, or like what if
Yeah.
like the toads are more like the Last of Us kind of toads, right? Or like with like the mushroom heads, right? Like that's kind
Mm.
of what I was thinking. Or they're not like actual like they got a little mushroom, they're cute and adorable things. So it's like Last of Us clickers, and those are like the people that are helping you, right?
Oh
Like make
yeah.
it a little more realistic-y and just kind of like add that little tinge of just kind of horror into this thing. Ah,
I'm trying to
that'd
think
be
of
so
like
rad.
scary Goombas because usually like I always associated Goombas as like half his size. So I'm like, how can that be
Yeah.
scary? But I'm like also thinking, oh, the Mario Brothers movie where they're just big bodies with tiny heads. That can
You
be it.
you
You
bring
just
back
plug
those
that in.
Goombas?
Yes,
Yeah.
those are frightening enough to
Oh
put in
gosh.
there.
That's so funny. And just like King Bowser is just some dude with spikes, with Liberty spikes, basically.
I
So
mean,
bringing back the dinosaurs. Yeah, I mean that is the Souls world, right? Like it
it
makes it
worked.
more realistic and kind of terrifying. Yeah, it does work. It's pretty funny actually. Oh my gosh. I'd play the hell out of that. It's something I definitely would want to see more of because I feel like you can do so much with that world. I know that like everything's cutesy and stuff, but I wonder, like, oh, what if you go the other way with it, right? Where we're going very dark with the aesthetic. What if it went Mario aesthetic, but it was more like Souls gamey, you know? So
So it'd
it's
be
kind of
like
like
another Crab's
cutesy.
Treasure almost, where it's like bright and
Yeah,
colorful. I could see that. That'd
yeah.
be really cool, actually.
But it's
I
like hard like a Souls like, you know, like it has that difficulty there.
I'm trying to think like, obviously the 2D has been done with Souls like
Mhm.
platforming, but with 3D, you don't really. I mean, I know a lot of people are very picky when it comes to 3D platforming, but I'm thinking there's not a whole lot of dark 3D platformers in general.
That's true.
Even
Yeah.
counting like old school 3D like Castlevania games, like there's just not many. Even in the indie scene, like I've followed it and it's like not big. I'm thinking, man,
Mhm.
just imagine like Mario polish a platform with Dark Souls polish of themes and difficulty,
Mhm.
and that would be really cool. But
It would be a trip because you're so used to Mario bosses taking like 3 hits and you beat them, right? But can you imagine sitting there for like 15 minutes fighting a boss and you're like, "Oh my god, this is fucking hard," right? Like,
or you make it like one hit kill.
mm, yeah.
I mean, just
Yeah,
make the
it's
game
yeah.
like super hard in the like make it like Super Meat Boy, right? Where it's like if you get hit,
Mhm.
you're dead. You hit the enemy, they're dead. So it's like, but you can't just easily jump on enemies unless you're like bouncing off a wall and jumping on them. So it's like
Right.
kind of you still have to take your time, maybe roll out of the way or jump over them. But
Still learn patterns, right?
yeah, like I think it'd be kind of cool if you just made it high risk, high reward.
That would be really fun
And I
actually.
think that fear would carry the the difficulty of the game.
Yeah.
When you think about the
I
ease of a Mario game, it's like you add that, you're already adding like a difficulty level that probably would rule a lot of people out. But
Yeah, that's true. I think what would be the most fascinating part about it is just like the movement, right? Like
mhm,
being able to traverse that you would the way you would as Mario. I think that would just be so much fun in something like this, where you would end up seeing such like crazy combos and solutions to things, right? People doing like triple jumps to like jumping up wall jumps off something to like, like I think it would make it feel much more epic whenever you finally get that like last strike in. If you're able to build the arena out so that they can actually play with it, right? Like there's room for them to be able to move around and be mobile, but not make it so that it's hard to see or anything. I think that's going to be like the hardest part about it because most Mario boss stages are just flat, so you don't see anything. You just have to deal with the boss. But that cuts out a lot of the movement that was built into Mario anyway. So,
yeah.
like, it's kind of funny that they do that, that they remove that aspect completely from it. Just kind of, yeah, it's interesting. But hey, man, I think that sounds awesome. I think that'll be a lot of fun. I'd play the hell out of that, to be honest. It's definitely one that I kind of want to make right now. I'm like, oh
It'd be
yeah,
cool. I mean, I feel like you just haven't really seen that unless there's something like Itch.io, but like
hmm
it's like untapped potential.
yeah. All right,
Just
let's
like
see.
this weird
Yeah.
idea. This isn't
Okay.
gonna go far because this is an idea I've had for probably a decade. And I've always
Okay.
sat and thought, like, how could you really do it? There's that game coming out, I think this year called Kingmaker, right? Where it's like you're
hmm
driving a tank versus like medieval knights or something,
Oh right,
or you have
right,
a gun. Like it's basically like you're a modern person in this fictional or fantasy world. And I was thinking
right.
Final Fantasy and Call of Duty.
Oof.
Now,
I was.
you could make it
How?
you can
Yeah.
make it an RPG. If you would
hmm
make it an RPG, I would almost think it would be more like Valkyrie Chronicles, or yeah, Chronicles, where it would be like half turn based, where it would be like you're setting up your units, but then it would go into like a third person where you could shoot,
hmm
or it's Final Fantasy, but set in a warped reality of our world. I know people
Mm.
already hate the more modern Final Fantasy, so this game would be hated for sure. But
I was just trying to think of how those mechanics would work, right? Like, cause I was so trying to figure out, like, what can work with Final Fantasy when I was trying to deal with but, like, turn-based makes it so hard. But they do
yeah,
have turn-based shooters, and maybe it's more like an XCOM, but with, like, magic materia and stuff like that, but then that feels like tactics, right?
yeah,
There needs to be, like, that gimmick, or I mean, like, okay, what's the big thing about Call of Duty, right? Like, it's fast-paced. Get
it's
shot once, you're
Nicki
dead, right?
Minaj
Like,
and Cheech and Chong getting
it's
kill streaks on you,
yeah, it's just goofy
smoking out of the
costumes.
bong gun.
Yeah, yeah, okay. That's well, that's some choices. I mean, you could just throw Final Fantasy skins on the Call of Duty and call it a day, right? But then maybe
Ooh.
instead of like what if instead of like the airstrikes and stuff that you can call in, what if it's like summons and eidolons and things like that, right? Like that would be pretty cool. Like if you I mean, instead of like a air raid, it's freaking Ifrit that gets called in and does like
Dude, that'd be
meteor swarm right there.
sick.
Or like, can you
Imagine
imagine? Like, yeah, go ahead.
imagine like, okay, doesn't like a realistic shooter like that, but then it's like, yeah, here's Shiva doing diamond dust and it freezes all the other
Yeah.
soldiers. Like, you know,
Okay. Okay.
Call
I
of
think I'm
Duty is
on
already
board again.
being
Like, yeah.
it's being hated because it is going the Fortnite route with all the weird stuff in it. But if you just go and embrace it completely and do something like this, I think people would be like, "Hmm,
I, I think
I need to
this
be a
could be
part of this
something
dumpster
interesting.
fire," you
Because
know?
I mean, like, let's say you get a kill streak, like, what's it, Star Wars Battlefront, where like after you kill a bunch or like acquire enough
Oh, yeah, you
points, you
turn
can then
like
change
Luke.
into yeah, so what if that's your ultimate, right? So, like, you can actually, like, bust out an Omni Slash real quick and, like, plow through the people. I guess that it would be kind of like that where you have to charge your ultimate based off what you're doing. No more turn-based, but it's all using the mechanics of Final Fantasy itself, but just
Mhm,
putting them in a really fast-paced thing, you know? So, like, I mean, if you look I think 7 might be a really good advocate for this, or even 13, because they have guns. Right? Like it's already kind of built in. Cloud was a soldier, so he knows how to use a gun already. He just happens to have a sword as well, you know? So I
yeah.
think I
Well
really do think that that would be the coolest thing ever is if you could actually summon in like magic and eidolon. So like what if your basic thing is just like a gun, or like if they get up close you have your weapon, or if you're
mhm,
like a squall character you have both all built into one. So maybe that's a little bit easier. Maybe he can hold an extra item because of that because he has the gun and the blade, right? But you have magic as well, so that could be, like, instead of grenades, you throw out, like, thunder or something like that. That's
mhm.
the spells you pick up on the map, and then as you progress, you get more points. You can either do ultimates or you can actually do summons. And I'm thinking like, "Oh, people are, like, bunkered into this, like, little house, and then I summon Titan and fucking flip the house." You know? Like, it's just obliterated that way, like,
I
this one's
forgot
kinda got legs. I like
that
that a lot.
I forgot that they made that Final Fantasy Battle Royale, but this sounds so much better than that.
That's right, I forgot about the Final Fantasy that actually, like, sucked. I tried it,
I
it's not
tried
good.
to. Like,
I did not like it.
I thought it was gonna be kinda like For Honor where it's just like, here's 2 dudes wielding big weapons and standing off with each other, but, like, it was not even
Like
that,
that.
like, I I don't know. I mean, it's already like a
Yeah.
weird combination, but I don't know. After seeing the Battlefield 6 trailer with how awesome that looks, I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, man. Imagine instead of a bomb hitting that building, it's just Titan just flying into it." Like,
That
it'd
would be so
be
cool.
like, basically, I guess what I'm just trying to think is like, imagine if the destructibility of like a Battlefield game or anything like that, but in a fantasy setting. So imagine
Mhm.
like Final Fantasy 9, you have an airship battle, and it's like,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
could
that's right, you can have
bomb
airships and stuff like this in this too, that'd be so cool.
you could, like, bomb the location or something like that, or just make that the stage where it's, like, different airships and, like, they can get close to each other, like, almost like a sky battle kind of thing.
Mhm.
And,
You can also do naval stuff too, and the flip side of
yeah.
that, right? Because that's huge on there too. Like, maybe there's a leviathan on the field, and,
Ooh,
like,
yeah.
you can actually use some points or whatever it is to summon the leviathan real quick, or, like, basically tell it to strike somewhere else, maybe throw bait out to like, where the enemies are posting up or things like that, right?
Mhm.
Like, this could be really cool. I'm actually really digging this idea. I mean, I like the fact that they've tried it, kind of, right? But they were trying to do something more like Fortnite-y. It wasn't like anything crazy, but
Yeah.
like this actually being a thing, that would be pretty awesome, actually. Now, would you play a character of Final Fantasy, or would you just be like a soldier or anything like that, right?
I
Like,
think
I
it'd be
guess there would be
both.
skins, but
That way you
yeah,
appeal to crowds. But,
right.
yeah, I
I like
mean,
that.
I think it'd be interesting. I don't know, I always thought, like, Final Fantasy characters in odd settings were kinda cool, like, I think back to, like, Urgites, where it's, like,
Mm,
a fighting game
right.
where you play as, like, Cloud and stuff, and I'm like, we just need more weird stuff like that."
Yeah. This would be really cool. I feel like you can easily make something like this, but you don't have to like say it's Final Fantasy, but people will get it. Right? Like
Yeah, you just do,
they'll
like,
understand.
you just steal airships from them and you, like, take a bunch of
Mhm.
kind of ideas, but you don't have to make it, like, the exact thing.
Yeah, change the names of summons. Don't call them Eidolons, but like you have a flame spirit, right? Like it's nothing. It's just like elementals, right? That could be the thing.
Yeah.
They're just called that. Oof, that's an idea. I love that a lot, actually. Okay, so one that I really am like jiving with a lot, I really love that I thought of, and it's such a silly one. I think it's probably the most trying to like mix together, and that is Pikmin, but in the world of Resident Evil, right? So
Mm.
you have a horror survivor, but Pikmin style now, right? So like you can be Olimar, you're going around, you're getting your little Pikmins. Not all the Pikmins are good, right? Some of them have become zombies already. So like you're actually having to fight against those ones. So there's, survivors and there's zombified ones. Maybe you can try and like bait the zombie ones to do what you want them to do, but like you're just trying to survive this crazy horror thing, and like they're coming out after you. You just like because the premise of Pikmin is already kind of, it can be really scary, right? Because Olimar just gets stranded on a random planet, and now you're stuck. You don't know what's going on. So what if that random planet happens to be going through some sort of like parasite takeover, right? And some of the population there is now changing into like flesh eating things or like mindless things, right? It's
Mhm.
like the mushroom that takes over ants and stuff like that, right? Imagine that. So
Yeah.
like they already have the little plant that grows above their head. What if that thing gets like fucked up and it's like it's basically The Last of Us. I guess it could be like Pikmin, Last of Us, Resident Evil, like zombie survivor kind of thing. I think that could be pretty cool. Plus you see Olimar with like a gun. That'd be weird.
I think that would work because in Pikmin 4, there was, like, the underground. Like, most of the
Mm,
game to unlock more stuff, you always had to go in these underground little tunnels, and some of them were kinda creepy, right? Where they would be, like,
hmm.
darked out, and it was always like, "Oh, man, these things are, like, just destroying my little Pikmin," and I'm thinking,
Right.
"Ooh, imagine if in a horror setting, it'd be kinda cool."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
your Pikmin, you could learn to harness these kind of, like, brain eating or, like, parasitic kind of things where you could also slowly become someone that's spreading too.
Yeah. What if that's like a choice, right? Like you have your survivor run and then you have like kind of takeover run. But I was
Mhm.
just thinking too, like, in Pikmin, you can like throw your little dudes and
Yeah.
like have like chuck them in areas. What if like you're trying to get somewhere, right? And there's a bunch like a zombie horde that's blocking your path. What if you can chuck one of your little dudes and have them like they land over there and they distract the horde? Like it's a
Oh, that'd be great.
sacrifice. So you actually have to like sacrifice your little guys every once in a while and try and find other ones. But oh gosh. It's such a simple little idea, but I feel like those two worlds for some reason do end up working well together. Like that it's that hive mind mentality, like
Mhm.
there's all that. They're already like little plant things. They already are mindless already. They kind of just listen to whatever you're doing. And then you just add a little bit more survival horror into it, right? Like just make it a little bit creepier and you got a really interesting game there. Now,
Hmm.
would you have like boss fights like Resident Evil, Like is there like
I
a
think so.
crazy mutated version? Yeah.
There's gotta be because in Pikmin 4 there was like boss fights. So I'm like,
Mhm.
they could easily do that. It
Yeah.
what I'm thinking is like, because I can't think of any like kind of minion based game that's really done it in that kind of genre. Because
Mhm.
like Overlord is not, it's
Similar,
demons,
but
they're
yeah.
not zombies, but um I'm thinking like, yeah, it'd be cool like if the game was just a little more scary, right? Everything's
Right.
darker, everything's out to get you, and but your Pikmin can't really hurt them, right? It only can like
Mhm.
knock them out. So you have to be
Or
quick
it could
wherever
just
you
be like
go.
it's a distraction. They can push over boxes to help you get somewhere, right?
Mhm.
But like they're not weapons. Like I feel like that's one of the big things that about older Resident Evil games and one until you got to the end, right? Like when it started, you felt weak. Like you
Yeah.
couldn't really do anything. Eventually you get like rocket launchers and become a giant block of tofu and nobody cares, right? Like and you're able to run through the game. But I feel like that game should open up more of like this is puzzles, which is classic Resident Evil, right? Like
Mhm.
you are just trying to solve puzzles to get out of the way. And like, I think that's, like, a perfect thing right there, where it's like, yeah, you can kinda fight back, but there's limited resources, and it could either be that, like, maybe you do have a weapon, but it's very limited in ammo, or the limited resources are the amount of Pikmin that you're able to actually use. Like, that's your ammo, right? And you can only have so many distractions, but you need some to do that. I guess the biggest concern would be, like, soft locking out of the game, where you could see someone, like, panic
Yeah.
firing all their Pikmin, and then now they can't actually, like, solve the puzzle anymore. So you'd have to, like, build things in for that, but I feel like that could definitely work.
Yeah, I'm curious with like
I would love to play
the
that.
soft blocking because it's like in the Pikmin games, usually if you run out of all your Pikmin, it's game over. But
Mhm.
if you run out too little, there's always like something spread around where you could gain more. But in a
Mhm.
world like this where it's maybe more on the dead side, it's like, well, how would they spawn? What would make them spawn?
I feel like any
Maybe
puzzle would have to be able to be solved without Pikmin 2, right?
that I think also like you're purifying the planet or wherever
Mhm.
you are. So, like in 4, you have your little dog companion, and that makes
Mhm.
me think like, okay, if you lose all your Pikmin or you're too low of Pikmin count, you have that little dog that'll make up for it. Because in Pikmin 4, at one point, if you keep leveling up this dog, he has the strength of 100 Pikmin. So,
Oh,
like,
wow.
you can just make him carry everything.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it could be in the same in this game where he's kind of like the difficulty slider, where it's like, oh, we'll just use the dog to make it a lot easier until
Right.
we have more.
That's true. Yeah, in the beginning, I feel like that would be a good thing so that people kind of understand, like, "Oh, I need to be cautious with my resources, right, with the Pikmin I have." Like, maybe the dog counts as 5. Like, it has the strength of 5 to start out with or whatever it may be, right? And in the beginning, you're thrown into a puzzle that you need 5 Pikmin to move a box. And if you happen to, like, panic and throw all your Pikmin out and they all died, well, it's okay because you have the dog still, right?
Mhm.
Or another thing you could do too, maybe is like let's say that same situation of like the box puzzle. There's a box blocking a door. You can either use your 5 Pikmin that you have to move the box so that you can get through, or if you happen to accidentally throw them all out or you panicked and now everything is zombies, those 5 Pikmin you threw out are now zombies out there, right? So
Mm,
maybe you can kind of like corral the zombies to try and chase you, but they're moving the box as well. Like maybe it's
that's a good
harder,
idea.
but it is another way of solving the puzzle, right? Where you can stand on the other side and get them to push it that way because they're just trying the goal is get to you now. So now you're the target instead of like setting a target for them to move.
I think that's
So
better than what I was gonna say, because I was gonna say, or you could just purify them. Since you are there to
mm,
purify, it's like that's your weapon, right? Is that you in
mhm,
short little amounts, or it's like a cooldown, you can do a small little circle that when it's launched, it purifies that little spot. So like if you
yeah.
need something, all those Pikmin that you just threw and died that are now zombies, you just do this little net thing, it purifies just that small little amount and they'll come running to you.
Mm,
But I like the, "Oh, let's corral them and try to have them push," because I think that would be, like, the faster way to get things
right.
done.
And I feel like that would make the puzzles where you can keep them the same, right? You don't really have to change too much, and
Mhm.
then gameplay still stays like stays the same, right? Because otherwise, you're gonna have to like panic and change the way you play. Now you got to wait for cooldowns and stuff like that, right? Or maybe like the dog might be a little too easy. Maybe that's an easy mode. You get a dog or like a little companion for
Yeah.
people, like right? Like I feel like just giving them that would be enough. But yeah, this could be really cool. I actually really want to see something like this. I feel like the Pikmin style game is not really one that is utilized a lot. There's plenty of games out there that do stuff like Tinykins was another
Mhm.
great one like that,
But
but
it's
it's always happy, right? It's
yeah,
always very colorful.
and
And
it's
so
just
I think
it's
it'd be
barely
cool.
happens, you know? I feel like
Mhm.
Tinykin was the first in, like,
A
years,
while.
and I
Yeah.
don't think we're gonna see another non-Pikmin, like, for a long time, which is weird. I
Right.
think they're enjoyable. The only reason I
Yeah.
didn't like Pikmin back in the day was the time limit, you know?
Mm,
So if
right.
you get rid of a time limit in these games, they're a lot less stressful, but you add in a dark setting like this and that'll fill that void of the stress.
That's true. That's very true. All right. So, what do you think? I think we got time for maybe one more, right? We're having too much fun with this. So, what do you got for us? What are you
I
thinking?
I was looking at something you like posted and
Mhm.
I didn't think about this, but I really like a cyberpunk Legend of Zelda.
Right? Doesn't that just sound really good?
Like Tron
Space.
style Zelda. Like
Yeah.
it just sounds so cool. Like
Yeah.
he could have like the master sword is kind of almost like a beam sword kind of. Not like a lightsaber,
Mhm.
but it has like a radiant beam to it. And
Mhm.
I'm trying to think like, okay, what would the world be like? Because, most Zelda
I
games are
imagine like
pretty
Blade
small.
Runner,
Yeah,
right? Like I
but
definitely see something more like Blade Runner-y style and like It it can be a grand world, but the story is told in a smaller environment,
mhm,
right? If that makes sense. Or it can follow what Cyberpunk did and be in a world that size. I mean, I feel like you can play a Zelda game like that because Cyberpunk had you going to different areas as if you were going to the different dungeons, and then you complete your quest, you get some items, and then you go on your way. And you like there's side things that you can do to kind of make the world feel more lived in and larger than it is, but you still have these smaller sets of like, here's the wind temple, right? But it's just like some building that you're going to or whatever it may be, like some crazy skyscraper in the sky.
that would be interesting. Like the shrines or just high rises or like bunkers that are
Yeah.
like a little different than other places. I think like in a cyberpunk world, like the game, not just the theme,
Mhm.
would be interesting because it's like, instead of Epona being, a horse, it's like maybe
It's a Mustang. It's a
or
fucking
it's a souped up bike,
yeah.
like a Kira
Oh,
kinda
yeah,
bike.
that'd be cool.
And,
Dude, an Akira bike would be dope. Yes.
and, it makes me think like, okay, so
And it needs to have AI on it where you can call your bike wherever, just like you can call Epona anywhere on the map, right? Like,
I mean,
you need to be
Navi
able to, like
sounds like navigation, so it's
that's
perfect.
true, right? You can have, like, a little drone companion that's kind of, like, with you that
Mhm,
right? Like, that's always there, and you're like, "Hey, Navi, call Epona," and it's just like, "Beep," and then, like, your bike just fucking comes right to where you're at, right? Like, oh, that'd be
mhm.
so awesome. Ooh,
Like,
I like it. Actually, that yes.
I'm thinking he could still have, like, a bow and arrow kind of thing, but, like,
Mhm,
something I was thought about, I forgot what, maybe it was Crisis. In those games, you have, like, a bow and arrow or whatever, or
mhm,
crossbow
yeah,
gun. I'm like, "Oh, that's, like, something you don't really see in a cyberpunk setting." Like, yeah, you see the swords with, like, street samurais, but you don't see, like, futuristic bow and arrows. And, like, he
it's
could
true.
still use that because he believes that, like, you don't go full tech for weapons,
Mm.
right? Like, I'm thinking like Metal Gear Solid 4 where it's like, "Oh, like, these corporations can turn off the tech in your weapon," kinda thing. So,
Yeah. What if
that's
he's
why
like
he
a
still has the
hacker? What if
sword.
Link was a hacker that would like kind of stumbled upon something,
That'd be kinda
right?
cool.
Oh, okay, here we go. This is it. My brain just kind of like connected it all real quick. All right, so the Triforce, we got to build that into this world, right? That has to be a
Mhm.
thing. So Zelda and Ganondorf, like maybe Ganondorf is like the leader of this huge company, tech company, right?
Mhm.
Zelda is the lead coder, lead programmer, and they've created something that is like the code is going to basically like take over everything, right? Like
Yeah.
Zelda doesn't really know exactly what they're working on, but it's a very powerful code. In order to keep the code safe, they've broken the chain into 3 different blocks, right? So, one Ganondorf has some of the code, Zelda has some of the code, and then, like, the 3rd was there and Link found it. Like, he hacked into Hyrule, which is the high rise, right, that Ganondorf
Ooh.
works in, and he hacked in there and took a piece of the code that he was able to decipher, and that's the 3rd piece of the Triforce. It's not maybe it's not called the Triforce, right? But, like, that's the whole premise of it, and that's how Link gets involved. Because I feel like all these games, like, Link just kind of stumbles into, "I'm the hero," right?
Mhm.
So, like, he could be some low-tech hacker, maybe he doesn't have all the augments because he's trying to stay under the radar, he doesn't wanna be tracked or things like that, so maybe that's why some of his weapons are more low-tech. Right?
Mm.
And like you can have fighting maybe the shrines, like if you're going Breath of the Wild style, the shrines are on the net. So you're hacking in and that's where like these shrines are. And like the actual temples are the buildings that Link has to physically go into and
Mm.
like actually complete something when he's in there. But the shrines and there could be little puzzles and stuff like that where you have to like hack in real quick and get into those things, and that's how that works.
I like the
Which
idea
is
of the shrines being like the network or something, 'cause it
mhm,
reminds me of, like, in, the Shadowrun games where when you hack into a
yeah,
terminal, it sends you into a different map that's all, like, just, you know, it looks like you're in a computer kind of thing.
right.
So it would be just like that, where it's like these stages are set in a mainframe or something,
Yep.
and when you exit, it could be, like, in a different area, like, your body just transports over there or something like that. Um
Yeah.
Yeah, like, that
Ah,
that would make a lot of sense because it's like, if he's doing low tech in general, it it would make the game really I don't know if it would make it full on action. I mean, I guess you could still take other people's weapons, like, when you kill them.
yeah, if you
Um,
wanna go with that route, I prefer the more linear Zeldas though, right? I feel like
yeah.
but if it is in a cyberpunk world, then it needs to be a little bit more open worldy, right? So then he should be able to take something.
It doesn't have to be. It could be more staged base, where
Mhm,
it's like maybe you're called to go
mm,
somewhere and it's like the start of the stage is you driving up on your bike,
Right.
and then the stage ending is like you getting back to your bike and you leaving. Doesn't
Now,
have
the
to be
master
open world.
sword, is that just the master key to get
Yeah,
into something?
I would say
Yeah.
it's a master key, and like that
Right.
key maybe that key opens any building in the city
Mm. Yeah, I like that. Like
because
that,
it's like
then
needed
if you
for
get the master
hacking.
key, then you just get full access to the rest of the world. That since it's
Yeah.
like end game stuff now that because the whole time you've been hacking through doors, right? Just like you would in any Zelda game, you're looking for keys, you're solving puzzles, stuff like that. But once you get the master key, then you're able to just all doors are unlocked for
Mm.
you. You can go freely explore the areas that you feel like you haven't explored just yet. Maybe look for some last, bits of like pieces of heart or randomness, like money, chests, all that kind of stuff. And then you can go and fight like the final fight with Ganon and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
But like the master key unlocks the game, right? So that you now have full access to everything. I that's a
I
cool
like that.
one. That's a cool one. Yeah.
Yeah. That really changes it up, because it's like now you're like higher tier hacker and yeah. Hmm.
Maybe that's the ears too, right? It's a hack. It's a biohack. Right? Some people just have ears. And, because you have like the Gorons, the Zoras, and stuff like that. Maybe there's like actual genetic hacking in this game that people do because it is a futuristic city, right? Like, or maybe it could be like body mods where it's like instead of a Goron, it's just like some crazy rip guy that has, mechanical mods on him, and that's like the Goron, right? Or
Yeah. Or like for
little things like
like
that.
Zora where it's like a person will have these like cybernetic like gills basically
Hmm.
or like flippers on their feet or
Yeah,
something. That'd be sick.
that'd be so cool. Oh, yeah, I'm actually really digging that. Dude, all these are awesome, and we
Mhm.
have more, you guys. Like, we didn't just stop there. We actually came up with a lot more, but we are hitting around time. I feel like we could probably talk about this for a few hours for sure. But don't worry, we're gonna hold on to what we got left. We're gonna bring them out at some other time. If you guys are really digging this idea, let us know, and we would be more than happy to keep going with it. Because let me tell you, some of the ones that we haven't talked about yet, there's some really good ones too. We got some really solid ideas out there for sure. But yeah, if you're liking this, please, 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 it helps us out a lot. Word of mouth is definitely the best way that we have grown. So if you're enjoying this and you think some of your friends might enjoy it as well, please let them know about our show, right? And if you like this one, well, guess what? There's more of us out there for you guys to listen to or watch too on YouTube, right? We can actually check us out on our other show, the IBS podcast or Imagination Brain Station. You can catch it wherever you're listening to this show as well. Like we're out there for you guys. It's a little bit more free reign conversations, a little crazier. So if you want to hear us but go a little more nuts with the things that we find and talk about, definitely check out IBS for sure. But anyway, we'll talk to you guys next week with some more games and all that good stuff. Until then, bye for now.